What's going on, everybody? Doc, your average gamer guys, back at again. Last day on Earth action, and huge news. This interrupted my normally scheduled programming, but I am okay with that. Let's get into it. We're talking initial info for roadmap for 2025, in addition to a couple of new details that have been shared here today. So very excited to talk about this. We're going to speculate just a little bit, not a ton in this one, because I don't like to do that too much. I like to talk about what I like, not what I want to speculate. But let's jump into it. And we originally had some free to play. We're going to talk a little bit. I'll bring up the map and scroll around just a little bit. So 2 places you can find this info. You can find it over on X, Last Day on Earth. You could also jump over to our Discord. We pull all of the big news into our Discord. In case you didn't know that, we have a channel for Last Day on Earth. Links in the description. If you want to join that, give us your cool updates, talk to us about the game, all that good stuff. Got a cool growing community over there, so we appreciate everybody that's a part of it. Thank you, and good discussions. I've appreciated jumping in there, seeing. I can't always respond to everything over there, but a few of you, I do my best to do that when we can. We're busy. All right, anyways, roadmap 2025. They're going to tell us what they're planning for the near future. We're going to use this as our thumbnail because I think it's pretty cool. Here we go. Very soon, they're going to be releasing an update with an event dedicated to Valentine's Day. This is probably new. There might have been Valentine's Day events in the past. I don't really remember one, to be honest with you, but I'm sure there maybe have been one in the past or so. Then after that, we'll be celebrating St. Patrick's Day, which will be in March in the Wastelands, and they're going to give us a Wheel of Chance for the base. You can spin it every day, and you'll have a chance to hit the jackpot and get a Corgi or infected genome. Now, here's the interesting about this. Corgi is relatively hard to get. We can get them from some events. We can get them from a couple of things. Sometimes I think we are able to pick some up from the season pass every other season, I want to say. But other than that, probably one of the more restricted dogs that we have. You can't really find them in the wild. So that's pretty cool. I like that. Plus, I'm a big fan of getting some genomes, saving some time, so I like that. They said, meanwhile, we'll also want to update the rewards for some of the calendar events. They had talked about this previously in their last roadmap. I think lots of folks were maybe a little bit disappointed that they didn't do the big hunt event, so maybe we'll see some things get fixed for that. But here's the important part. As you're sending and receiving Valentine's cards and chasing a leprechaun, so it looks like our leprechaun friend is going to be back, and I'm glad it's different. This event is different this year, because last year's was really bad. It was real bad. They're going to be working on the next major update, a new region. You heard that right. Stay tuned. We'll be sharing our progress along the way. Wow. Okay, so a new region. I don't think I have anything else. No, this is the Aether Drift. If you didn't know, I like magic. Oh, that didn't come up, did it? If you didn't know, I like magic. We have an MTG channel as well. Let's jump in, and this is the part, if you just care about the information, you have it. You can gracefully bow out after the 3-minute mark. Let's talk about what a new region could mean here on the world map. I've got a couple ideas. First and foremost, I don't think we're gonna get the chopper. I think that's a stretch. I personally do think that there is time, and it's probably about time for something that's a little bit more dedicated to the more end game players, not the absolute end game players. I would fit myself and my main account in that category, kind of moving that way with our free to play, but we have lots to do here on this account. And here's why I say that. That's going to rub some people the wrong way, and that's okay. Again, this is just purely my opinion. But part of what they talked about with the 2024 roadmap, and part of what a lot of the focus has been for the game going forward, has been extending the end game, right? Continuing the progression, extending the progression chain. They talked about adding additional levels, new skills, potentially, obviously, new weapons. They've shied away from an additional transport, so I don't think we're going to see the helicopter. As much as I would love that, I think it'd be sweet. But the ATV is hard enough to build. Imagine another thing where you have to spend some of your resources, steel, titanium. Imagine having to do like 200 titanium for the helicopter. Like, that might be a little bit of a stretch, although doable for some folks if you're at the late game and you've been doing your settlement. Here's what I think. I think a new region shifted farther to later game players helps them to continue on that progression and build out the progression of the game as a whole. I think one of the big things that would rejuvenate a lot of players in the game would be additional levels or a prestige type system or something like that that could add some new skills, make certain areas maybe a little bit easier as you progress, give you some additional things to grind for. In addition to, whenever we hear new region, I think new resources. They have done a good job as of late of doing new weapons as well, so I think there'd be some combination of those things. Certainly some new events would be great as well, but I don't think we're getting the chopper. I also don't think we're gonna get Bunker Charlie anytime soon, okay? Unless we get a way to transport our boat, which maybe we can hook up a trailer to the van and drive it from one to the other. Don't even get me started. I don't think we're gonna see Bunker Charlie. There is a world in which, though, this down here, this area of the map changes. I don't think that's out of the question. If they wanted to do a new region and keep it newer player friendly, they could look to, move some of this water and kind of extend this and shift the area around. I think one of the other things to kind of keep in mind is that as the map grows, they're going to have to be thinking about and adjusting the energy that it takes to get to these places, right? So you don't want something crazy all the way over here. Well, maybe you could, I guess, if you really wanted to. They could shift this. But they got to be careful with this just in terms of how it's going to work. You already can't run to these swamp locations. You have to use the ATV. They have to be careful about utilizing resources as well. As you start to take a step back and think about it, there's a lot. There's a lot from a balancing perspective that they have to work on and that they have to do. Now, I have heard in the Discord and a few other places, suburbs is right here. I would love nothing more than the new region to include suburbs. I really would. I think it would be absolutely awesome. I think the problem for that ends up being, and maybe we get it. I can stay hopeful because I do think that would be really neat. I think the problem with the suburbs, the way that where it's located, and again, they could shift and change the map. They can do whatever they want. They've already kind of established suburbs here in the northern region. All right. So I think that's maybe, I'm going to say that's on the less likely side personally, but I could be wrong. Now, the other area, and this is where I think this might go personally, the other area that they could do kind of what I'm talking about, and I think not make it too much of a stretch, because they've kind of got water pathways established here. They could also make it slightly later in the progression to get to this, requiring your boat, for instance, is doing some kind of like desert, sub-Sahara-esque theme. It could require you to go across the boat, utilize your boat to maybe come to a docking station here or port or something along those lines, and then we could see the map expand up here. One or two locations, new resource, maybe another special location, another port, transport hub-esque type location or port location, right? One here, one on the other side, and have some things that we could upgrade or deep dive into. And then we get kind of one of the themes that we've interestingly seen. We see this actually during the big hunt event, where you get like a really dried out location that doesn't have a ton of, like it's all, kind of scorched earth-esque, not infected forests, but like desert-esque. And that could be really interesting. They could introduce some fun animals with that, kind of like we have the boars, and the northern deer here. They could get some interesting stuff going on there. We could see some new zombies, obviously. And again, I think they would kind of restrict this a little bit to requiring you to get the boat. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think, again, that would encourage players to get those things. I think it's a little underwhelming. You create the boat, and you really get access to the watchtower here and this sand quarry, which I love the sand quarry. I think it's really cool. I like this watchtower. I think it's one of the neater ones. But nobody goes to Dead Island. This is useless. This is really useless. Even if you need titanium, this is useless. So having something else where your boat can get you and you can use the fuel and the resources, get your boat up here. They could even go ahead and queue this oil rig up. They could do something similar, like we have a boss fight here for Ice Trap Ship, right? Maybe we have to like repair the oil rig or repair the ladder or something to be able to make this another location. I think all of that is a good potential, and this is kind of a sort of somewhat untapped area. Now, it would look a little weird if they went ice here into desert, but they could just install a mountain range here, and you know, that could generally be fine. You know, we go from here into ice, and that's not too crazy either. So this is pure speculation, pure just conjecture, but just thinking about where the game is at its current state, what a new region means, and all of the things that it would bring. I do think they have to be careful about, and they're probably going to be balancing this. And then again, my ultimate hope is that this is another step. This is another update in the building block to continue to further expand that progression. And again, I think getting the reward of having your boat done and getting more areas to go to and some new resources would be great. And I would love to be able to use it more. I really would. I'd love to be able to go oil rig. I think this would be awesome. I think this would be absolutely awesome. And then you could talk about what resources you could find here. You could find whatever, oil, right? If you really wanted to, you could do something crazy. You could do some other resources here. This again could turn into more of a Borealis ship, and could be really, really neat. So that's just some thoughts I had today as I was kind of thinking about this new region and what it could bring. I would also expect that we won't see, if it's a major update, I think you're going to see something akin to the northern region. But I want to just kind of hold everybody back a little bit. With a new region, there's going to probably be, again, some balancing and some other things that has to go on. And I wouldn't expect it to be crazy. I would expect it to be a couple locations. I would be happy with another northern region size-esque location. A couple locations, some daily events, a boss fight, something akin to that for this new region would be really, really cool. When will we see it? We'll see it the roadmap. My hope is that it's kind of a late 2025, mid to late 2025 for it. We usually get kind of one major update a year. Maybe they're faster or further in the progression, which would be awesome. But I'd love to see that. That's my conjecture. The other thing that they could do, to be really honest with you, is they could just totally change the map up, right? The only thing that kind of gets a little awkward here is this. Maybe we get to break in here, but the problem is this is the crater. So like, we're not going east, ladies and gentlemen. We're probably not going south, because I really don't think we're getting another vehicle. We could go farther west. I would be less inclined to that, just because this would then probably require the ATV for all the travel. I think that's too restrictive, in my opinion. That could be the way that it goes. It could go farther northwest, grab suburbs and something beyond that. I would be okay with that too, but that's a lot of travel distance. So they would really have to figure out how to condense the map a little bit, or give us more daily energy, or something to allow us to make those trips. I do think it's relatively likely that we see some type of expansion up here, because you can run up to port relatively easy. You can use your boat to get over here. Then maybe you can run around in these locations, come back to your boat, and do that whole trip back and forth. And I don't think that would be too terrible either. So I'm excited. I'm excited for a Valentine's Day event. That's going to be pretty cool. We'll definitely bring you all the details for that. Whatever the lucky or unlucky leprechaun brings us, I just hope, just please let that event be better than last year. It was so bad. Which I'm sure it will. It really actually kind of resulted in the current Pursuit of Luck event that we have, which isn't my favorite, but it's not terrible. It'd be way better. But it's okay. It's got decent rewards if you can save up the caps. So we'll see. I'm sure we can get some caps from that as well. I like the idea of the daily wheel. It's pretty cool. And we'll see. So that's what I got here for you today. Back to a regularly-ish scheduled program. We got some fun series coming up. Thank you so much for checking this out. As always, let's continue the discussion. Comments down below. Do my best to respond. Thank you for all of those that have noticed that. I really try my best there. Want to continue to grow our community here and really appreciate all the support on the channel. Flash some socials. If you're not subscribed, please consider trying to get to 10K this year. That's our big goal for the channel. I'd love to hit that milestone. We'll have some fun things to do if we get to that point. So sincerely, thank you so very much for all of the support, everybody that tunes in every day. And yeah, continue the discussion either in the comments below or, like I said, Discord. Want to pop over there, links in the description. You're welcome. We've got a Last Day on Earth channel. We pull all of the official update news from the official Discord. So it's not me posting it. It's coming right straight over there. So we share that as well. It's a good resource for you. And we have a whole bunch of Last Day on Earth content. Like I said, also links in the description if you want to check out our other channels. We enjoy Magic the Gathering. We post 5 videos a week over there as well. We have a main channel as well. We do Escape from Tarkov, so we play a lot of games. We post a lot of videos. So if you enjoy the content, give us a look-see over there. We'd appreciate some support on those channels as well. But we'll wrap it up here for today. Have a great rest of your day, and enjoy this little batch of fresh news that we got here for you. Thanks for watching. Peace.